Hey y'all. Well, it's me, sick as a dog, no pun intended. And now I gotta drive 25 miles over here to Integrity something or other in I don't know where I'm going. Athens. Now I gotta get off the trees though, because I'm parked too close to them. Like an idiot. Alright. So, come right along with us while I go get, hopefully, some medication that will help me get rid of this shit. And a COVID test. And, oh, what was that I just ran over? Oh, my blocks. Okay. God dog it. Boy, it's a little toastier outside than I would like it to be for Jasper and Maya, but it's nice and cold in here, and I've got my lithium battery going, so they each have their own personal fans, and I've got the air conditioner on, Nanook from the North cold, and Maya's gonna chirp, I'm sure. I'll make the trip that much more pleasant. Okay, emergency brake. Oh, and that's the first thing that fell. Okay, don't know what that was, but it didn't break, so don't care. Ugh. That's not allergies.
Turn right onto Cassandra Lane, then turn right onto North Goodman Avenue.
That's whatever this is I have, which...
Next right onto North Goodman Avenue.
Boy, there goes something. I did a really suck job trying to get everything squared away to pull out today, because I just feel like, I don't feel good at all. I feel way better than I did day before yesterday. I had fever, and my goodness, I thought I was going to have to get up in the night and get Morgan and Richard to take me to the hospital the night before last. The day I had the migraine, day before yesterday, and then I got up, took a whole bunch of amoxicillin and naproxen, and then a 2,000 milligram loading dose of amoxicillin and 3 or 4 naproxen, and that got me through the night, and I sound so much better than I did. Man, I couldn't even breathe with my Maya. I couldn't even breathe with my mouth gaping open hardly. So at least I can breathe a little now, kinda, sorta. But I got amoxicillin, naproxen, prednisone, NyQuil, all on board to sound this good. The breathing is the problem. It's my lung that collapsed when I had that horse wreck 6 years ago. And growing up, I'll be 63 in a couple of weeks. I still have my tonsils, so that doesn't help. But growing up, I would get this every winter, every January. I'd get strep throat, and then it would turn into bronchitis and go on down and do what this is doing. So, this doesn't feel anything different than I've had my whole life. Every January, my whole life, except about the last 10 years, I haven't gotten strep throat. Well, I've got strep throat once, about 10 years ago, and but I haven't really been sick with this kind of stuff in a very long time, so that's cool. And yeah, if the old guy on that thing's going, then I'm going too. Shoot, sorry. That's Crazy Larry. No, that isn't him. Alright, and we're off and running to Athens, Texas. Maya, please. But anyway, so the last 10 years I've really been healthy, except for the horse wreck. That wasn't sick, that was just massive injuries, A whole bunch of broken bones, collapsed lung, head injury, broken back in 2 places, broken ribs both sides, right shoulder AC separation, and road rash from my head all the way down my right arm. And by the grace of God, I'm alive and here to tell about it. So, and then Brent got sick right after my horse wreck, so I had to get well and take care of him. And I think all that's just kind of caught up with me. I'm worn out, and I'm exhausted. I'm just run down into the ground. I mean, I have been for some time. I'm trying to get better, and I think I really am better. I mean, I'm so much better than I was when I was still on the farm and trapped and all that, you know. Once I got out from under all that, I mean, things improved drastically, but still, I'm just on a very, very fixed income. Like right now, I'm sweating driving over here and back. I don't think I have enough money for gas and medication. So, I mean, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to go and get tested, and if they give me a prescription for something, then I'm just going to have to borrow some money from somebody to get the prescription filled, because I just don't have it. And I'm not going to have money again for, you know, I get the Social Security thing comes once a month. And, you know, when that's gone, it's gone. And, but by not, you know, by doing, not going anywhere, it helps a lot. And I don't really have any place to go anyway. So, I mean, that, you know, I need to be. So staying at home and just trying to put my life back together, you know, has been good. And it's still good. But when the money runs out, it runs out. And I'm stuck. I'm trapped. I mean, if I don't have it, I don't have it. And when you're living on a really fixed income, oh my God, it takes a lot to get by. You know, I'm not healthy enough to groom dogs full time anymore. I barely got my 2 done. So when I say healthy, I don't mean that I'm sick because of this. I'm not healthy because I can't breathe worth a flip, and my body is just, I mean, I've lived a fun, adventurous life, and, you know, I've gotten injured doing some things that I've done over the years. I was sitting there thinking the other night, I've broken my left collarbone 3 times, 2 times water skiing, and 1 time my mare that sent me to the care flight chunked me off the year before. In 2013, I was riding with Joan, my farrier, and we were even on our property. She was riding her beautiful boy Disco, and I was on my beautiful girl Zelly, and we were done. I mean, we were done with the ride. We were on our way back to the barn. We were right there by the barn, and she started hopping, you know, crow hopping, bucking, and chunked me off, and I landed on knocked the wind out of me, and I landed on my left collarbone and broke it for the 3rd time. And the first 2 times I broke that one, the first was in the 70s, and the second was in the 80s. And then, let's see, I'm trying to think, after that, yeah, that's when I broke my leg, broke my right knee, I broke my left elbow. Anyway, I have a history of breaking myself, but none were as bad as that horse wreck. So, but I'm paying the price for that now. You know, I never got to go to rehab or PT after that horse wreck because I couldn't get out of bed for 5.5 months. I mean, I couldn't freaking move. About all I could do was breathe, and that was a chore. And it is really windy. Holy moly, this is blowing me all over the road. But anyway, so there's that. And, you know, I feel like I'm still recovering from the horse wreck, even though it was 6 years in October. But physically, I just don't have what I used to have. I just cannot do it anymore. So, you know, and the breathing has been a challenge ever since the horse wreck. You know, I won't lie. I haven't really talked a whole lot about it because, you know, my husband was, you know, dying and had ALS. Oh my God, I got a flap open again. Are you kidding me? Shoot. It's that same little one that comes open. There's nothing in there. I ain't gonna worry about it. It can just flap, whatever. Stupid thing. Maya. But anyway, so, you know, 2 years into my recovery, self-recovery, I just got up and started moving one day. God, this is just blowing me all over the road. I don't like this. And I just got up and started taking little baby steps, you know, with walkers and crutches, and I pushed the wheelchair, and people had helped me walk. It'd take me 30 minutes to walk 30 feet to the barn right out my back door. But by golly, I did it. And I kept doing it. And I just decided, the more it hurts, the more I'm going to do it. So I did. And I just, pulled my big girl panties up and said, I'm not living like this. I'm going to get well. I'm going to resume my life, or as close to it as I can, and get out of my way. Excuse me. And I did. And so 2 years into that, then Brent started acting weird. Got diagnosed with ALS, so I had to go back to work because he couldn't work anymore. Couldn't understand what he was saying. His ALS started with breathing and speech and swallowing, so he would choke, like choke and turn blue choke when he was eating, or just for no reason would just be sitting there and just choke. But until he got, really bad, then I continued to work. I went back to work in like June or July of 2016, I believe, yeah. And I only was grooming 2 days a week, and started out doing like 6 or 7 dogs, and I think I might have gotten up to about 8, maybe, or 9. Not nearly like I used to be able to groom. In my heyday, I averaged 16, 17 dogs a day. I mean, that was just, that was no hill for a climber. That wasn't nothing. And then the last 10 years, something's on fire over there. The last 10 years I was grooming, I dropped down to about 10 or 12 dogs. That was a nice, comfortable day for me. I'd get, go to work at like 9 or 10 in the morning. I'm glad whatever that was, it just flew into my grill and hit up underneath my ride. Didn't break my windshield. But anyway, I got down to grooming like 10 or 12 dogs there at the end. That's what I was doing, until I had to quit work to take care of Brent in September of 2018. And my body has really, Maya, stop, honey. I just pushed myself so hard. I had to. I didn't have a choice. I pushed myself into the ground is what I did. But I'm not complaining. I was good at control bird, trash pile, tree trunk. I'm really not complaining. I don't, no regrets. Well, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have gotten on my horse that day, probably. You never know. It's life, life happens. At least it does if you get out and want to have fun and enjoy life. Life happens. I'm not one to just sit around and do nothing. We got a short time. We're only here on this planet for a short time. I know. Nice guy pulled up beside me to tell me that flap is flapping, but there's not a place for me to pull off here to do this. The shoulder isn't big enough on the side of the road to pull off, so I'm not doing it. I'll fix it when I get there. If it comes off, it comes off. I don't really care. It's this little compartment right beside the door, like about a foot square by a foot square. Maybe a little bit bigger than that, but not a lot. Really not a lot. And it's right underneath the heater, the heater. It's right underneath the heater, which is right underneath the refrigerator. So, I don't really put anything in there because that, I just haven't really, I think I had my, excuse me, jeez, my concrete schnauzer statues were in there. So, but I'm not really worried about it. like it, but for some reason that one just doesn't seem to stay closed for some reason. breathe. It's scary. And I'm breathing, but I'm not doing a very great job of it. It's compromised, to say the least. I mean, and I can feel it. You know, I'm just trying to be still and get well and not do much of anything other than, you know, take care of my animals right now. Speed. Come on, 35. School zone. So, yeah, the lung thing, I've never been back to a pulmonary doctor to get, to see what, if anything can be done with this. I do have a couple of inhalers, which help tremendously. I don't really ever use them unless, I mean, this is the first time I've had to use them. I have an old one at Brent's that has about, I don't know, 3 or 4, you know, a couple puffs left in it, and then Morgan gave me one last night, so, or yesterday. That helps considerably, but I need to see a pulmonary doctor. But you know, when you don't have money and you don't have insurance, you can't just go to the doctor and get well, and that's been my problem the whole time, is, you know, I didn't have insurance. I used to have insurance, but you know, when catastrophic things happen back to back and you quit working and you can no longer pay for things, you just don't have things that you need, you know, like insurance. And that wiped us out financially with my horse wreck. We had to use every bit of, you know, my savings. Brent had a little, but you know, we used it up, and then, you know, again, by the grace of God, wonderful people stepped up through GoFundMe to help us get through the horse wreck. And then, you know, in the middle of that, Brent got sick, and so I wouldn't be here without that. I mean, I truly wouldn't. And I mean, I will never ever be able to thank all the wonderful people that I know and don't know that got us through that nightmare. I mean, we wouldn't have made it without your donations and your, you know, your love and care and kindness. We wouldn't have. I'd have been on the street a long time ago. You know, it's just a crazy world we live in, that's for sure. But, you know, and then once you have back-to-back catastrophic things happen that take up 5 consecutive years of your life with absolutely no relief in between, I mean, you know, when I say I'm starting over, I mean, I ain't starting over. You know, but a lot of people do. I'm not the only one. I mean, you know, and I don't mean to sound like I'm the only one. Oh, poor, pitiful me. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm good. I got this. I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor, and I find a way to make it one way or the other, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'll do what I got to do. I've had to learn to do that, of course. I mean, you know, I've spent, you know, my whole adult professional dog career fighting and advocating for my beloved breed, giant schnauzers, and lots of other dogs too, just dogs in general, but especially my breed. So it's one thing to do it for somebody else, then you have to kind of, with the shoes on the other foot, you know, you have to learn to do it for yourself, and that to me is kind of the hardest thing to do sometimes, because I don't mind asking for help to help somebody else, but it's a hard thing when you're just, you know, you can't even do anything. I mean, you can't do anything without help. There was not one single thing in my life I had control over during that ALS nightmare, and I mean, it just about did me in, I won't lie. And my friends, you know, that followed our story on Facebook, y'all saw that. I mean, I still haven't recovered from that. That's gonna take a while, but I'll get there. I'll get there. You know, it just takes time to heal and, you know, get your head on straight and figure out what direction you want to go in and how you want to, you know, do the next chapter. Ooh, golly dog, this wind. Damn it. Dang, I don't like this. I need a drink of water and I need NyQuil. big surprise coming up, but I'm not really ready to divulge it just yet. But it's cool and fun and a brand new adventure. I can't wait. But is this December, January? We're about 3 months probably before I'm going to announce it. A couple of you know about it, but that's it. Not very many people do. And I'm just going to keep it as a surprise. Because, I mean, you know, life happens and things change. I hope nothing changes. I hope it happens. But, you know, one thing I've learned is not to look too far forward in the future, because you just, you know, this year has been a perfect example. Well, the last 4 orange years have been, and yes, that's me making a disgusting Ralph noise. The last 4 years for the United States have just been a nightmare. And, you know, that's another nightmare on top of my previous nightmares. But we're about to be out from under that. Thank God and save the Queen. Glory, hallelujah, boom, chugga-lucka, yeah. So, can't wait for that to happen. But what the future is, I think you have to just kind of try to plan as best you can. You know, stock up on a few groceries and things. And just, you know, do the best you can one day at a time. And try to, you know, make sure that you can, you know, like if something worse than this pandemic happened, you know, like what if we, you know, everything, like, you know, like more terrorism and that kind of thing, because you know that's going to happen at some point in time. That's not over with. You know, the orange idiot is pissed off the entire world. You know, and I'm not looking for a political discussion or comments on this video. It's my video and it's my opinion, and I'm airing it. If you don't like it, just keep your comments to yourself, or I will delete you from the comments. You have your opinions, I have mine. We may differ greatly, but on my page, my videos, I'm going to say what I want to say. And if you don't like it, then just mosey on or be quiet about it. I'm not looking to argue. I'm just looking to express my feelings, what I feel and think. Yeah, so, you know, you need to be as prepared as you can, because there's more shit that's going to hit the fan. I can guarantee you that. You know, it's just the world we live in. It's just the direction, you know, things go in. History repeats itself. I hope this last 4 years is never, ever, ever, ever repeated again for the sake of the rest of the people on the planet. God almighty. Thank you, Maya. Well, it's a beautiful day, and I would enjoy this drive a lot more if it wasn't so windy. I mean, I got a white knuckle thing going on here. My butt's not biting my chair yet, but my knuckles are... I got white knuckles on the steering wheel. This is the most wind I've driven in. Maya, please. Good girl. COVID, you know, all the normal flus and colds and crud that floats around this time of year, you know. I just can't believe I'm sick. I mean, I really can't believe I'm sick. It doesn't surprise me because I've been so run down for so long, but I mean, it really doesn't surprise me, but I can't believe it. Over Texas. Alright, I really need some NyQuil, bros. Chug, chug. Ugh. Gross. Yeah. taste, but it really does keep you from coughing, and I can breathe a little better. 175. What? Oh no, where'd that water go? I'll be rolling around on the floor now. I hope they just get me in and out of here and I can just get right back home pretty quickly. Usually when I get sick, I just go to bed and I just sleep it off. I don't mess around. I don't get up. I don't do stuff. I mean, I do the minimal. Of course, I got to take care of my animals, my babies, moonshiners. But as far as any activities or anything like that go, the most extensive activity I do right now is get up and stick something in the microwave to eat. I really prefer fresh, but I can't cook right now. I don't feel well enough to do that. But I haven't missed any meals. Now my appetite hadn't been suppressed at all with this. Now I haven't missed a dadgum one single meal. Excuse me. Yeah, it seems like everybody that gets sick loses weight. Oh no, not me. I'm still hungry. What is it? Feed a fever, starve a cold, or something like that? I don't know. I'm going to pause this and start another one so it doesn't take so long to upload. I'll resume here. Actually, I'm going to drive a little bit and I'll resume a little bit later. I'm out and I'll see you when I get there, or something.